guys, somebody help me. Somebody stop kicking me out, stop making me somebody else's problem, and start working with me. Isn't that your job? See, when I was a 10-year-old kid, I didn't know how to scream it, but I know how today. And I swear to God that I will not stop. I won't. For every single kid in your school, who last year they came for 180 days, yet nobody the whole year walked up to them and said, I know we argue, I know we battle, I know we fight, and the truth is you drive me utterly nuts, you do, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love having you in this class. Y'all know how that much more that meant to me than a ticket or a sticker or a tire bump? Hey, administrators, why don't you make this your behavior program? That every teacher in your school is required to walk up to one kid and pull him aside and say, I love having you in my class. You hear me? And you focus on that. And then he looked at me and he said, good, we start tomorrow. I said, start what? He goes, I know kids like you. You love being the center of attention. You love having everyone look at you. You love being in the middle of all the action. Guess what, y'all? I still love it. He was the first person ever in my life to tell me that it was good. I said, it's good? He said, it's good. I said, why is it good? He said, because if you can get good at it, like Leno and Letterman and Seinfeld and Chris Rock, you can do really well in life. And then he looks at me and goes, they got hundreds of jokes though, huh? I said, yeah. He goes, you ever see those guys? I said, yeah, I love the joke tellers. He said, I know. But if you ever watch them, they only tell their 4 or 5 best because after that, no one's really listening anymore. And I said, what do you mean? He said, what I mean is you need to learn how to shut it off so that when you're on, you're a lot more effective. But see, here's the truth about severe ADHD unmedicated, guys. It don't come with an off switch. There's no off switch here. 11 at night, 11 in the morning. It's all the same to me. There's no difference for me. That's how it is with this kind of a brain. It just goes all the time. And he said, 5 minutes or 3 jokes, whichever come first. And I said, you're going to let me tell jokes in your class? He said, yes. I said, I'm not going to get in trouble for it? He said, no. I said, but Mr. Dalton, I never met a teacher who liked jokes. And he starts laughing, like, Brian, we all like jokes. We just don't like hundreds of them. And I was like, oh. So severe ADHD unmedicated, the concept of enough is a hard one for us. We struggle with that concept. Enough is enough. And then he looked at me and he was a little sarcastic. He goes, you can count to 3, right? And I said, yeah. And he said his other famous line, good, get out of here. And 2 famous lines, sit down and get out of here. And I got almost to the door, but he stopped me. And he said, hey, Brian, real quick. I said, what? He goes, want this to be real life? I said, I don't know. What do you mean? He said, what I mean is if you stink, we can boo. I said, what? He said, like a real comedy club, man. If you stink, we can boo you right off the stage. You know what I said? Yes, sir. He said, see ya. By the way, sarcasm is an interesting thing, right? A lot of educational experts will tell you never to be sarcastic with kids. Let me be very clear. I will not tell you that. I think the 2 most dangerous words in education are the words always and never. I don't like those words because there are always exceptions to every rule. It's just how it works. So my rules on sarcasm are simple. I have 2 rules for that. Guys, rule number 1 is this. If you're able to dish it, you better freaking be able to take it. Hear what I just said? You can't mess with a kid and then they mess with you back and then you write them up. That's illegal. You either dish it and take it or you do neither. Rule number 2 is when you're being sarcastic with a kid there, you are joking with them. If they don't get that you're joking, apologize fast. I was just kidding. But you don't know me good enough to kid with me, Mr. Miller. I know and I'm sorry. But you shouldn't say that. I know and I said I'm sorry. But you should. Have you ever made a mistake in your life? Well, yeah. And when you say you're sorry, don't you want people to forgive you? Well, yeah. Well, I'm just like you. Sometimes I make mistakes too, and obviously I made one. I didn't mean for it to go over that way, and sometimes I screw up, and I'm really, really sorry. See how I put myself on the team while I was apologizing? I'm just like you. We're the same kind of person. Anyway, Those are the 2 rules on sarcasm. By the way, and if you're able to just, you're able to take it. I have a great story about this. I had a student named Dan. I'll never forget him. He was a senior, and great kid. He's one of my favorite kids that I ever taught. And I had taught him for 3 years, coached him in baseball. And so he comes in my room and he's got this really good-looking pink. He was an African American kid. He had a pink neon yellow polo shirt on, and looked good. He was a great-looking kid. Girls loved him. And from across the room, I was messing. I said, "Hey." He said, "What?" I said, "I love that shirt." He said, "You do?" I said, "Yeah, it looks good on you." He said, "Thanks, Mr. Miller." And then I kind of whispered, "It would look better on me, though. It really would." And he goes, "What?" And I said, "Your shirt would look better on me." He said, "Why?" I said, "I don't know. I'm just better with it. But someday if you look like me, you can wear clothes that look like me." And he goes, "Whatever, Mr. Miller. You think you're so cool." And I start to walk away from him, and I get about 3 steps away, and from behind I hear, "Yo, Mr. Miller." And I said, "What?" And it was Dan. And he looks at me, he goes, "You know what I have on that would look good for real on you?" I said, "What?" He goes, "Hair, bitch." He got me good. You know that they got you good when you get mad for real. You know what I'm saying? And I got mad for real for like